Okay, so here's some more. The school name, my business name, my company name was actually after my alter ego at the time because I wanted to be this rock star, if you will. And my producer ego was Industry, backwards and Industry. This turned out to be a self-fulfilling prophecy for me, myself, in the school and the company, because we turned out to be the industry of everything. We turn out to be the industry. We do all the industry jobs. We do all the industry education. We do all the industry everything. So a couple more ideas that I had was a rhythm pad for the deaf. So this is like creating pulses and buzzes and whits and whaps and zaps and taps and clunks and any sort of other physical contact that you can make to emulate a percussion, or even, you might want to emulate synthesizers and have some sort of frequency that goes up and down, that goes a higher frequency and a lower frequency, sort of emulate the music as well. This is like a rhythm pad for the deaf, and then some, you know, um, multi-track songs for the deaf to actually feel and dance. They can dance or they can feel drums and rhythm at least for the first time, if not some music a bit too. Um, so automatic construction. I had the idea of that if you had a bunch of robots build a toy house, you'd probably be able to get a bunch of robots to build one of those little plastic toy houses for kids and stuff. Now, if you fabricated the house, I've seen robots build pallets and stuff. So if you create a fabrication, an automated fabrication where you start building a bit more advanced walls and then even more advanced walls and start using synthetics and you start, printing walls and stuff like that. You start printing, you know, um, pathways for electrical and pathways for plumbing. You start, modularly constructing and fabricating this construction prehand, and you can assemble it with robots on site as well, and you can do the whole thing in an automatic process. So that's automatic construction. Then I had the idea to reinvent the box for shipping, rather than shipping and packing. If you wanted to pack shells, you can reinvent shells. So reinvent shells and packages so robots can pack them. You reinvent the box so robots can pack and unpack and fix broken boxes. That's the other thing. You have to fix broken boxes, unpack boxes, pack boxes, do the whole routine in an automatic process. The self-cleaning apartment. So this is the idea that everything in your apartment is able to be like cleaned by the car wash or cleaned by the sprayer and the dryer or whatever. So you might not be able to have a mobile robot go around and pick up all your clothes and stuff like that yet, because they can't visually recognize everything and put everything away yet. But you could wear clothes that you could spray with the cleaner. So and you could, there's other ways to, you can magnetically lace clothes and attract clothes by their frequency and organize them and stuff like that. So there is ways that you can do it. But as far as your general house cleaning, that would be done by like a spray wash system, hoses and so forth up in, and dryers in your ventilation in your apartment or whatever. So that's a self-cleaning apartment. Um, So the garden. So I had mentioned the garden and the round table. Well, the guys that actually run the garden are karmatically charged. So these are guys that are really good at developing a concept. So you take the concept of being good, and then you advance that concept to being really, really good. And then you advance that concept to being really, really good and truthful. And then you see being good led to this, but being really good led to this, and opened the door to that. And being really, really, really good, you know, open the door to all these other positive things, which brings me back to something that I was doing, and that's one of the things. People don't learn good. People don't learn if you do good, it opens the door to being even better, and if you be better, it opens the door to being even better than that. And when people work this way, and like when we all work with teamwork, and we all work together, that opens the door for us to share with one another, and do and be honest and truthful about things, and grow informatively, knowing how other people are growing around you and how you are growing. So and developing a concept, like taking a concept and developing it, how concepts have evolved over time, and taking how they're going to evolve into the future, and just taking these concepts and developing it. Now anybody can come up with a concept that nobody can live up to. So it's a lot of thing. It's a big thing to carry these concepts and live up to these concepts. That's different than just developing a concept you can't live up to. Keep that in mind when you're talking about karma and being good and so forth. That you might be coming up with concepts that people don't live up to, and they're not actually being that good. So. Passing the karma test and leading the sociological discovery. So people running the garden are passing the sociological test, the karma testing all of our discoveries, and they're pathologically organizing things. Just trying to build a statutory structural system like a ladder that we climb up with knowledge. You learn this, and then you learn that, and you learn that, and then you understand how everything works. Sort of here, what is the ladder that we need to learn? They're on the building of that. Now this is for dimensional materials. This is a giant hammer. This is a really powerful hammer. So take like that slipstream joint and or just take like a spaceship flying with the most force that it can possibly force into the earth as fast as it can with as much weight as it can, and hammering into the earth so that it creates so much heat that it opens up dimensions, and you can get dimensional materials. You get thicker dimensional materials by cutting through the heat and earth and hammering down. So creating this ultimate hammer where you hammer for dimensional materials might be possible. Cut through the earth with a super magnet. Some guy has developed the super magnet way of really getting really hot. He's going to create some sort of energy out of fusion or fission or something. But anyways, super magnet is getting really hot at this point in time. I was wondering if you could use that to cut through the ground. If you could use like plugged in vehicles, plugged in to a cord, cord that is miles long and so forth, and heat the ground and cut through the ground, maybe plasma, maybe lasers, whatever, with technology. And heating. So the thing is when a planet forms, there's a whole bunch of gases, and there's a whole bunch of minerals, and there's a whole bunch of things in the air when a planet forms, supposedly. What I'm saying is that there's not like gold. There's not like 4 tons of gold, 16 tons of silver, 17 tons of titanium. I'm not saying there's, and other elements as well as like water. There's not this much water. There's not this much, rock. There's not this much element of this. And gold is an element. So what I'm suggesting is that in the structuring or the formation of planets, elements such as gold can be formed. Like whether this is an interdimensional occurrence or something like that, or where the gold is actually coming from, it's through the formation of planets. So possibly recreating a formation of a planet, like recreating a microcosmic planet that's forming, super heat, super everything, and try to see if you can recreate the formation of something like gold. This is about going to the bottom of the ocean. So I created like a flat fish. You can even use an anchor, and this is with the cord again. So you attach it to a cord that's miles long, and you can drop in a remote control anchor or remote control flat fish. Like fish are flat, that's why they can actually swim that low and with the water pressure. So if you create a similar device that's flat like that, you can get to the bottom of the ocean with a cord. So that was my plan for the bottom of the ocean. And wildfires. I was back 5 years ago when I re-caught these guys. I caught them first off in 2007, and then about 5 years ago in April or so, 4 or 5 years ago in April, I can't remember exactly. I caught them. I was grabbing their attention again, and I told them a lot of what I told you now. I told them a lot of this stuff, and one of the things I did was wildfires, where I was like trying to solve the problem for wildfires, and we came up with this like expanding foam, this everlasting foam that keeps on expanding, and then we tried to make it healthy for the environment. And what we realized is that the problem with wildfires is that we don't have ground vehicles going in there and spraying, being able to spray like expanding foam or an expanding or a solid. It's a solid. What the solution was is actually a solid that's helpful for the environment and extinguishes fires, because we could put those on pallets, we could put those on trucks, we could get lots of them, and we could constantly deliver the solid to the ground and fight the fire, as opposed to liquid to the air. So that was why I